Well, hey everyone, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by La Marzocco, who's been making espresso machines by hand in Florence since 1927. These machines are at the heart of some of the world's best coffee bars and have been for quite a long time. Dependability, consistency, and innovation are just a few words that I would use and that come to mind when you think of La Marzocco. They are a quintessential espresso machine of our industry for a great reason. A great example of this kind of customer-focused innovation is the KB90 espresso machine. It has the straight-in locking portafilters for ergonomics, built-in scales in the drip tray so that you have a more accurate extraction. You also have the auto flush feature in the group heads, which keeps things clean. It keeps your workflow efficient. But it's just one of many different types of espresso machines that they've made to serve you. So no matter where you are in the industry, they have a machine that suits you. La Marzocco is available to help you make these decisions about what machine is right for you. All you need to do is reach out. info@lamarzocco.usa.com, and one of their salespeople will get you suited with the right equipment for your space. Highly recommend La Marzocco. Love their equipment, love the people. Go check them out, lamarzocco.usa.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Espressly. They create custom branded mobile apps for your coffee bar. So you're not just a dot on a map with Espressly. When your customer pulls out this app, it's all you. Your image, your feel, the branding, your menu. It's an immersive experience that brings together the culture of your business with the convenience of mobile ordering. So there's no risk when you sign up with Espressly. There's no setup or development fees. You get a drive-through payment scanner, receipt and label printing capabilities. Data is stored in the app. It integrates with some of the world's best payment processing systems. And of course, that includes Square. So if you've been thinking about a mobile app and you really want to stand out from the crowd and offer your customers something truly wonderful, check them out today and have them get started on your app over at espressly.co. That's espressly.co. Okay, everybody. Well, today is our last shift break before the new year comes in. 2023 is on its way, next few days here. And I wanted to end this year with some tips on where to place your focus going into the new year. I always base my recommendations on people, operations, and quality. And those categories cover, obviously, everything that you could think of in a coffee bar as a good starting point for your thinking as well. Today, we're going to break it down by people, place, and quality. So you can kind of interchange, your own words, but these are things that typically I'm going to recommend for my clients, and I want to recommend for you as you go into the new year. The reason why this is a very important episode is because when we enter the new year, it feels like here's a new opportunity. We know that we've spent 365 days doing stuff. We've done a lot of cool stuff. We've done a lot of things that we're not proud of, and maybe some challenges have come our way. And every year, New Year's resolutions roll in, and they're usually based on how we want to transform ourselves or maybe transform our business. And the way we do that is based on how we spend our time. And I believe the more intentionality you can put into the way you spend your time going into the new year, the better the results will be at the end. It's easy for me to look back at a day, a week, and sometimes in my career, it's been months and years, where I just kind of think I spent that time, but I don't know that I really spent it well. I don't know that I invested into the time. So there's a difference between spending and investing. Investment has a lot more intentionality to it because you've thought about the return on the investment. In spending just sounds like something that you do frivolously and without much thought. Maybe there's a hope in your mind that it will turn out well, but not really gone through and thought about it that much. And so we want to be more on the investment of time versus the spending of time, if that makes sense. So I want to go through three categories here: people, place, and quality, and give you some suggestions of areas where it might be helpful for you to invest your time and energy in this coming year. First, we're going to start with people. So I think increasing our level of curiosity is the first thing that we need to think about when it comes to how we're going to invest our time in our people. Curiosity is all about learning about a perspective that somebody has, need or desire, and that allows you to make better decisions on their behalf. We've always said on the show, power is not for you, it's to be used for the benefit of people. And if you're going to use power to the benefit of people, You got to know what benefits them. You can't just assume that everybody is like you. Even if on the surface it may seem like they agree with the decisions you make, a lifestyle of curiosity as an operator peels back layers and allows people to be truly vulnerable with some things might have been holding back from you. This curiosity also plays a big role in discovering the needs of your customers. And if you are doing this the right way, it also helps you with yourself and your own professional development. And as a leader, as a person, you can get curious about your own emotions, your own thoughts. It's not curiosity as a way of finding something you can use against yourself or others. It's curiosity to serve somebody, to deliver something at the end of that discovery process that will benefit them. And so that would be a great mindset and practice to engage in the new year. So if that resonates with you, mark that down and say, every week I'm going to make sure and audit yourself. Say, how curious was I? Was I really listening? These are great things to embrace. The other thing I would say is that you need to celebrate small wins. This is akin to saying you need to highlight people doing great work and find people doing great work. As I get older, I find that rather than doom scrolling on Instagram, I would love to tune into good news. I've subscribed to several good news Instagram accounts simply because it helps me balance reality. And when you are a leader, you want to notice people and search for people doing great work. It's happening all around you. It really is. You would like to think that maybe there's always something challenging or a problem, but actually there's a ton of great things happening all around you. You need to celebrate those. And then when you tell people, hey, there's something we need to work on, they're not going to look at you with their head tilted to the side, wondering like, where were you when we handled that rush? Where were you when I had my best close ever? And things like that. So you need to find ways to celebrate small wins and also just the generally positive work of the day-to-day cafe life. Something else that I would say, this might fall under operations for people, is a lot of people love clarity. You have to invest into role clarity, job descriptions. Maybe it's time for you to dust off the old job descriptions and see if there's any editing that needs to take place. And if there is editing, like adding things to a job description, now it's time to think about paying people more money for added responsibilities. If the business has changed, the role has changed, and it's expanded and grown, then so should the compensation. But the role clarity itself goes a long way. People need to know what you expect. They need clarity and resourcing from you to do their jobs well. And this is where curiosity, going back to the beginning here, comes in, where you can now take what you have learned from others and from yourself and say, how can I take all this and resource my people and clarify things and create an efficient system that honors people in the good work that they do and helps them do even better work, yourself included, into the future. Moving on from people, let's talk about your place. Little things, cleanliness. These are two things that I really want to focus on, because I think if you just fixed the little things and focused on cleanliness, your whole cafe could change. Where we get into trouble in the cafe, both behind the bar and on the other side in the cafe, is we don't pay attention to the small changes in trajectory of the cleanliness and orderliness of our spaces. Behind the bar, things can go from beautiful in the morning to chaos within 2 hours if we're not working clean, if we're not bringing things back to stasis, right? And that mentality goes out to the cafe. If you can't keep a clean bar, you're probably not going to keep a clean cafe. In fact, when we talk about tipping baristas, we're talking about how sometimes owners will rely on tips in order to pay their baristas less. Not a great thing. But it's also something that baristas do and operators. We rely on customers to maintain our spaces rather than us maintaining our spaces. Customers constantly have to bring things to our attention, and we're supposed to be the ones with eyes on, not just on the Spotify playlist, not just on the extraction, but also on the tables, the condiment bar, the bathroom, all of the areas that the customer touches. Now, if we're not focused on those areas, they will become avoided. And we will avoid them until a customer reluctantly brings it to our attention. And then we're just like, oh, great. So now I have to deal with this. You wouldn't have to have dealt with that if it was built into the system to care for it in the first place. So what you do is you schedule these things. You improve your schedule for cleaning the bathroom, which probably needs to be cleaned way more. And your SOPs need to be really detailed and dialed in for optimal results so people know what done looks like, what good looks like. Working clean, fixing little things that break behind the bar that baristas need to have fixed in order to do their job. These are things that you need to focus on coming this new year. Over time, this mentality and these incremental improvements to your process and your place will create just a way more comfortable environment that's actually more productive, and people will feel happier to be in, both your customers and your staff. So finally, let's talk about quality. One of the things that we need to do to improve quality of our coffee in the bar, besides what we've just talked about, because I think quality follows functionality. If we have a sloppy mindset towards people and place, then it's probably going to bleed over into quality as well. Customer feedback and barista feedback is key. Most of these kinds of insights are kept secret until they boil over. Drink quality will suffer to a point for so long before it's brought out by a negative Yelp review. And then all of a sudden, as if awoken from a sleep, management comes in and the trainer comes in and they're like, oh my gosh, we got to fix this. Oh, you've been steaming it this way for so long. That's not what we trained you to do. Okay, we got to fix this. We got to reteach everything from the initial onboarding and all this stuff, right? So what's the answer here? Well, engaging yourself constantly in getting feedback from the baristas and from your customers for how things are tasting, how things are looking, what kind of improvements do they see could be made for efficiency behind the bar or quality control. Too many places are set it and forget it when it comes to training, and for quality control, this is one of those things that needs to be happening all the time. So tap into the feedback from your baristas and from your customers more often. Don't wait until somebody brings a raging inferno to you and says, please put this fire out. Let's get this before the spark even ignites, because there's always something waiting to catch fire in the cafe. Hopefully not for real, but you know what I mean. It's an ever-present thing. You take your hand off the wheel, it's going to drift. And you have the tools usually to make better coffee. You just need to be more informed about how the coffee is tasting. And I think for a lot of us out there, if you're honest, you kind of don't know exactly how the coffee is tasting. We're just kind of saying to ourselves, well, people are saying it's good, or I haven't really heard anything, so I guess that's good news. We have to build this feedback culture when it comes to the quality. We have to be checking in all the time to maintain quality and empower people to pay attention and make decisions. That means continued education. I should be able to tell you as an operator how every person on my team is at every menu item. And if you don't have that, then that's what maybe you should be focused on for the new year. How can you empower them to create wonderful drinks, make great decisions on quality control, and dial in? And then how can you build a system where the feedback and things that they do come up with are regularly communicated so that you can make the right decisions and keep things on point? So there's a lot here in this shift break, but I feel like it's really appropriate to sort of set the tone for the new year. These are just a few of the things that I would suggest are good for you to focus on in 2023. Be sure to check the show notes for related episodes to these topics so that you can dive even deeper into these concepts and apply these well to your cafe. Don't forget to subscribe to Keys to the Shop. Share these episodes and the show with your following on social media, with your email list, with your team. I really appreciate all of you and the support that you've shown for the show over these past now 6 years. Thanks everybody so much, and I will see you here next week on another edition of Shift Break, from Keys to the Shop.